Morning! We're at the gateway day today, which is Red Solar Skywalker. There we are. Skywalker is the human being who is doing the Buddha process, call it what you will, the inner work, the great work, the reformatting, the restructuring to allow embodiment. What does that mean? Today is Saturday, the 2nd of November. It's a huge anniversary for me today, and I'm going to start by reading you the waxing moon energy when I first connected this morning to starting to do the research. All of these are really powerful, these Capricorn energies, and wherever they are in your chart, whichever house you've got Capricorn in is really significant, because this is where your discipline is, your red Skywalker is, your walking the path is, being free from the wounding of the patriarchy and all the corrupted code that it has brought as to wounding around the masculine. So Capricorn 15, a woman wearing a necklace of skulls, feminine power of the deepest kind, ancient, impressive and formidable, standing for the dark goddess, authoritative, proud and knowledgeable, can be attracted to pouring on the power and becoming personally identified with dominant behaviours, lack of compassion, very little forgiveness, not generous spirited, imperious, demanding and not to be denied. If sparked by wakeful seeing, redemptive and cauterizingly renewing, but if captured by old pictures, autocratic, ideological and retaliatory. The perfect soul gift for those with pure intention, otherwise a scourge. So if you check in with aquaorfire.net and you put in Capricorn, then you can see all the different threads that we're going to be working through today. Really, really powerful. So Capricorn is about Earth, who we are on planet Earth. It's an Earth sign. It's practical, it's very disciplined in realizing that karmic pattern is, it is what it is. As much as we want to try and distort things, the truth is, if you do this, you get that. And that's what we're really learning the lesson of now. That most of our choices have been made unconsciously, which is how it needs to be as we come in. We come in, we're not awake, we're not aware. We have to be in that state in order to embody all of our human being DNA as a Skywalker. All of the patterns that we come into, we come in at this lifetime, at this stage, to bring all our gifts from past lives, bring all our ancestors' gifts. And in order to access them, we have to free ourselves from the wounding, free ourselves from the distortions of truth, and really be active in our pain body, so that we can truly feel the pain body. The emotions are all about the navigation system to understand what hurts the body. Again, the ego wants to push beyond the boundaries. When it's out of balance, it doesn't care that we get hurt physically. It doesn't care about being in balance. It just wants to do its thing. And Chiron in Aries that we have at the moment, we've just had the birthday of Chiron, and this was discovered in 1977 when it became time for us to embody that consciousness on planet Earth. So Chiron in Aries for a good long transit now. Check it out, Google it, and see where Aries is in your chart as well, because this is all about the I wound, the ego wound. Who am I? Who have I been told that I am? And most of the who I've been told that I am comes from very corrupt methodology around serving an agenda, serving a corporation, serving a consumer schedule of very out of balance, power, crazy survival mechanism. It is not coming from an enlightened, clear place. So the Skywalker, again, if you look at the glyph for the Skywalker, again, check it out, Red Skywalker, Google it, loads out there on the internet, follow your own cosmic cookie trail. You will see that it is a conduit. We are the conduit. We are the bridge between heaven and earth. And again, what does that mean? It means that we have a spirit self that is wanting to embody and direct the human being from a place of limitless access, limitless resources, and free from the human mindset, free from the human being conditioning. And then we have the human being experience, which comes with a bodily program. So again, research that about the amygdala, research about the emotional mind, research about the fight, flight or freeze mechanism, which is very different from the logical mindsets. And this is what we're really starting to see now. We have all these ideals on planet Earth. We have all these should be doing this, should have that, belief systems that we've moved on. We have not. We are seeing that we have not moved on. They are just ideals to work with at the moment. And again, it's the same with positive affirmations. It's not really who we are right now. It's something that we're leaning towards, that we're wanting to be. But if we get lost in where we want to be in the future, then we are literally ungrounding ourselves. We are disempowering ourselves. When we access source, in however we do that, maybe it's shamanic journeying, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's guided meditation, lots of different frameworks around connecting to source and understanding that we are a spirit and that we are so much more than this human being mindset in this body. And again, we can see how this gets out of balance, because the ego that is still reeling from wounding, that is still not able to grasp frameworks of healing and clearing and shifting the amygdala. Of course, that part of us does not want to feel all this stuff, because that would be insane, wouldn't it? You know, it is insane if we constantly want to go into feeling all this stuff, all these traumas that we've had, without having the tools to clear them. And the tools are there now, and you don't have to spend years in therapy. You can get very quick shifts if you're willing to do what it takes and feel the pain. What I offer you is, you will feel the pain anyway if you don't do this work, because it just goes to the next stage. Whenever we get to the point of feeling the pain in the body through illness, then we have ignored many signs, many directions. We've overridden our emotions. We've overridden our gut instincts and gone ahead with behaviours and relationships, ways of being in the world that are not in alignment with truth, that are not in alignment with who we really are. And we're ignoring our soul. Our soul whispers, it does not shout. It does not demand to be heard, because when the human being is ready to listen, then it happens. But often we have to get to an extreme state of our spiral of keep on doing the same old, and think that we're going to get a different outcome. And of course, that too is insane, because that cannot happen. In the past and today, we are still searching for sweetness through distractions, through sugar. Ancient way of avoiding the reality that life is not sweet, that we're putting out too much energy in an imbalanced way, we're propping up relationships, we're giving of ourselves far too much at work, we're going against the natural rhythms and natural cycles, we're trying to be full 24/7 at all times of the year, and believe that we can carry on doing that our whole life. Our body is not designed to do that. And that is the reality. And of course, many people know this stuff, but believe that they have to keep on doing it anyway. And I know at times, in order to keep a roof over our head, we do have to go into these extremities. And we have to find a way now to start to minimize that, whatever that is for you. That is seeking release now. This is what this time of year is all about. And so just to read you the cards today. Okay, so the Mayan card that I have is Unity. It's number 1. This is a Mayan oracle, a great pack of cards and amazing galactic wisdom, which is beyond the current human mindset of distorted truth. So number 1 is about initiation. It's magnetic. And again, in terms of the 13 moon calendar, it's about going back to the 26th of July, the first 28 days. This is where we get what is seeking to be unveiled to us, the new learning that's coming in that we're going to be working with for the whole of the 13 moon cycle. And of course, this is always building on everything else that's come before, but it helps you to be really specific. Unity is all about love, is all about where we're remembering who we really are, which is we're all part of the same energy, we're all part of the same creation process. And our experience on planet Earth as a child, often, for most people, I think for all people, is at this time is really about the wound, then feeling that we're not love, that we're not truth, because we're coming into this framework in order to evolve it. So we have to learn about the myths that are untrue, that we are not love, that there's something wrong with us if we speak truth, for example. And so again, the initiation in any 13-day process is the beginning. It's where you can send out an intention that day. And for me, that is always about opening my heart and healing and opening to more love and remembering who I am. That is what I always ask for. And so going back 9 days, where were you? What were you doing? Red Serpent is what this is all about. It was initiated to reveal to us where we are around relationship. And in particular, because this whole spiral that began on the 13th of July is about Cancer. So again, where that is in your chart, your home, your mothering, your nurturing, how you're learning to do that for yourself without being codependent on somebody else, healing our mothering and nurturing wounding. For many of us, that may mean our mother, but generally it's about healing how we didn't feel loved and cared for. We didn't get our emotional needs met as a child for whatever reason. And so for me, in my family, Red Serpent Day, as I've done in the earlier videos, which you can check out on my channel, flowwithjo.com, and websites on YouTube, and I've got those mixed up, but flowwithjo.com, you'll find me anyway. Yeah, so this is all about when my mum met my dad in 1961, because I've done her chart, I've mapped her code, and yes, it is a lot of work, and yes, it is absolutely worth it, because then you start to understand your whole family process of creation. And this is what I believe this wave spell tool is for: understanding how we've come into being, understanding the patterns, and letting go of how we feel about them, when we feel anger, when we feel sadness, because our human being self, our child self, is feeling this deep wound. And no going to the reframe, no going to the reframe at this point, because that is a very clever little ego trick where you say, oh yeah, but I understand why they did that. Oh yeah, but you know, I understand that they weren't in the light and they didn't have all the tools. And yeah, all of that is true. And it allows you to bypass all the feelings that your child self, because your child self didn't understand that when this wound was created. And that's the part of you that is seeking healing. That's the part of you that is seeking mastery of the emotional mind and wanting to really heal it, be heard by yourself, first and foremost, the older you parenting the younger you, and aligning yourself with all the people and the tools that help you to do that, rather than somebody else doing it for us. You know, this is the key. We have to learn how to do this emotional intelligence and healing for ourselves now, and be able to do it every day, so that we can start to be consciously aware of who we are and why we do things, and create our own book of shadows. So, Red Serpent, my mum, when she met my dad, 1961, a process began. And this is really key to the Thoth card today for me. So, there you go. That is the Eight of Swords, which is interference. So, the swords is about the mind. And this particular card, again, if you check out another great website, which is Eli Tarot strikingly.com. If you just put in the Eight of Swords interference, you will get his website come up, and his website is fantastic. He goes into so much depth and gives you the whole Kabbalah, gives you the whole tree of life there that you can see. And of course, again, if you look at the tree of life, just recognizing this now as I look at it, the Kabbalah system, this is what is on Pakel Votan's tomb in the Temple of Inscriptions. So if you look at that, you will see where there is a man at the bottom and the whole tree of life is up there. And it's a very, very famous picture which shows the process of getting clear, the 13 clear signs, which also, if you check out that on my website, there's loads of info on there about it if you have a mind to feel that and explore that. And again, it's, you know, all where we are at that time. So back to the card, Jupiter in Gemini. Now, that is my placement, Jupiter in Gemini. So it's master of relationships. It's master of, in the natural zodiac, Gemini is the co-creation house, which is the third house. So it's how we do relationships with other people. And how we do relationships with other people as a child is how we learn how to do relationships our whole life, until we learn how to do relationships from conscious truth that are loving and respectful. So how many of you had conscious, loving and respectful relationship with other people when you were a child? Not many, I'm guessing, because I didn't. Because who knows how to do that? I didn't know how to do that. I'm learning how to do that all the time, every day. And this is so key now, that we have to learn new skills. We have to learn new ways of being, instead of just pretending to ourselves that everything's okay and we just have to carry on how we are and accept abusive behavior from other people. Absolutely not. There is no excuse. Zero tolerance in most institutions now around abusive behavior, and yet it's still going on behind closed doors in people's houses every day, every moment. Abusive behavior is still going on and people are living in fear. It's going on in our biggest companies, in our biggest corporations. It's going on everywhere. That's the truth. Because at the moment, people are still working through this process and when they're going to come online. So in terms of Jupiter in Gemini, both my parents are Gemini, and the axis of Gemini, the other side, is Sagittarius. So my mum has Sun and Moon in Gemini, and my daughter has Sun and Moon in Sagittarius. And so they're opposite ends of the axis. When we learn how to relate and be in a place of truth in Gemini, in the third house, then we access the ninth house, and that is the gateway. Sagittarius is the ninth zodiac sign, and yes, it is all about travel. It is all about learning about religion and all the other traditional things. Excuse me. And it's so much more than that. It's the galactic center. It's a place where new stars are formed. It's the gateway that we go through to liberate ourselves onto the next level of our human being evolution. So this is why it's essential. All the houses that are below in the natal chart are the human being journey. So each one of those, from the 1st till the 6th, so again this is the Aries time till the Virgo time, all of these houses, the more that we work in these, then the opposite axis opens up. So key ones to look at today are Capricorn, because we've got Moon in Capricorn today. So where is that in your sign? What planets have you got there? And this is a really key gateway point. Mine are in my 12th house, which is where all my hidden power is. I don't have any planets in there. But people who come into my life, I've had some amazing Capricorns come in, and we've been doing some amazing work together as well. So this is really key. So honouring those people that I have worked with, that have been in my life, who are Capricorns, because that has been such an amazing revelation for me. So lots of love to you, whatever you're up to today. Anybody in the Red Skywalker group, I've just done somebody's chart as well. It's her Mayan sign today. And yeah, blessings to you, lovely. Anybody who has Red Skywalker, White Mirror, got that, and Blue Knight and Yellow Star, you are in the Conscious Dreamer code. So this is, I mean, we're all in this in some way, but that's your speciality. That is what you're really about, is about everything to do with the Conscious Dreamer and how to create heaven on earth. So today is all about how do we create heaven on earth, and we do that through ourselves. That's it. That's the starting point. This isn't about what we do outside of ourselves as a starting point. This is where the delusion and the illusion lie, that if we'll create something wonderful, if we've got control of the 10,000 things outside of ourselves, that somehow we'll have a heavenly experience on earth. How can that be possible? Once we start to really examine our beliefs and our behaviors around those beliefs, then we see that a lot of the time we've been using our energy in a way that does not work efficiently and sustainably, because the focus point, the only thing we can actually change is actually ourselves. And when we change the inside, the outside changes. The more that we get clear around who we really are, and the more that we start to master relationships, the more we let go of the interference by healing it, then the more that we can actually hear our spirit, because it's in us more and more. And what actually goes with that, we are doing the behaviors that match a wise human being, that match an elder. We are doing things that are healthy for us, that expand our consciousness, that expand our circle. And watching what I've been doing over the last 9 years, I've just posted a video on Facebook. So in 2010, I came to Glastonbury at this time with my family, with a view to moving here, to show them what it was like. And I had no idea of what that journey would bring at that time. All I knew was I was being compelled to come to Glastonbury, and we actually moved here without anything. No support whatsoever, because everything fell through at the last minute, but we still came. So we had no job, we had no house. We had a house for 3 weeks, and we had to make it all happen, and we did. And that's the trust and the faith that you have to have at times as you go through these changes, to keep moving and keep redefining, recapitulating, to use a sorcery term, to use a shamanic term, casting out our past, so that our path is changing and we're walking the road less travelled. And of course, not everybody does that. Not everybody is here to do that at this time. We all come here with a particular gift and a reason. So I'm just going to share with you, my passion again is about Carlos Castaneda. I know all the dots are starting to come together now. I know this is a key path for me, and I have done this in past lifetimes. And in particular, my blue solar hand sign, can't get my words out today, sorry, is connected to the Yaqui Indian tribe. So when I was in Mexico at this time last year, or soon, it's coming up, I don't think I was there actually now, I was there for 11/11, and this is what I love about Facebook, it actually reminds you, it shows you your photographs and your pictures so you can see your own journey. So this is my latest book that I just have purchased, and this is connected to Carlos Castaneda. And of course, like, just starting to read it in the first few days, it is all about the Yaqui Indians, the Yaqui warriors, and it actually goes into the history. It blows me away. I just have this huge grin on my face as I start reading it, because it always comes in at the right time. I think I'm reading snippets of about 6 books at the moment, and I've always done that. I've known about this stuff since I was 18. On some level, I knew about synchronicities then, and again, trusted that, and just before I went for my first journey to Greece, to go and live in Greece, that was happening then. I already knew about the synchronicities. So all of that is there, isn't it, to be accessed, and it's wonderful. And Arizona, the Yaqui Indians, the Deer tribe, all connected to Blue Hand. When I went there last year, it all made sense then of why I do the work that I do. And that is about really understanding the story that we have as we come in, and then clearing it and rewiring it so that we can embody the new dream as a Skywalker, as a conscious dreamer. It's a time of the dark sun. It's a time of clearing the shadow. In whatever way you do that, there are many different ways to clear the shadow and become consciously aware of what our path is and what our wound is and what our pain body is. I use EFT, and again, highly recommend that you check it out. There's loads out there on the internet, and I have resources as well on my website, flowwithjo.com. So today is an amazing day. Skywalker is all about Mars as well, about Mars energy. So wherever that is in your chart is really key. It's Mars in Libra transit at the moment. It's all about this authenticity, fairness, coming into balance with the masculine and feminine within, and justice, the scales, going back to the ancient Egyptians, where the heart is weighed on the journey to the underworld. Heart wisdom now, heart balanced with the mind, not just the focus on the mind, not just the focus on mindfulness. This is about heartfulness and feeling the love, being the love all the time, with very little interfering with that joy process. This takes a great deal of discipline and a great deal of doing practices that align with truth, even though we feel the fear. Again, that heart wisdom, it's about having the courage to make the steps forward, even when you don't know the outcome. I remember in Indiana Jones, when he has to cross from one place to another, and there's a huge ravine and there's nothing there. But as soon as he puts his foot out, even though it's invisible, there is a pathway across. We all have that pathway. We've all come to do this journey now. 9 years ago, I began a process. I had no idea where it was going to go to. At first, I resisted anything to do with the Mayan calendar, and I thought, this is just too massive. I can't take this on board. But all I did every day was just move this piece of blue tack. And it began on the 2nd of November in 2011. It began with red magnetic Skywalker. And each day I just moved the blue tack, started to learn, and tuned in to whatever I really felt to, and started to build up my intuition muscle, started to build up my connection with the cosmos, and to really let go of whatever was getting in the way of me feeling joy and love. It takes us to deep places. It takes us to places we really don't want to go, because we are doing this to ourselves. We are creating this journey with this inner holograph, with this inner belief system, with this murk of our body. We are beaming that outside. And so again, the more that we start to see what is out there, what is reflected back all the time, is us, not as in a way of blaming ourselves or that we're bad. I know so many people do that. You know, oh, well, I've done these experiences before. You know, I've been mean to people, so that's why this is coming back to me. It can also mean lots of other things. It can mean that people have constantly been mean to you throughout your life, And again, it's one of those self-sabotage belief systems. How does that empower you now? You know, some of the nicest people I've ever met seem to still be running these belief systems about themselves. And again, this is part of the interference. It's part of the gaslighting that we've experienced from narcissistic people in our life. And we're still doing that to ourselves. You know, we're still believing that. This takes a lot to come off over time, this belief system, because it's been ingrained for thousands of years. So just know that, you know, and don't beat yourself up about things as a way of avoiding going into your own demon healing. We have to go there, and we have to clear the mind fog, the Neptunian delusion and illusion, so that we can become clear and free. And we absolutely can, and we are. So lots of love to you on your portal today of creating heaven on earth and seeing where you are on your path with that. Lots of love. Bye for now.